You think you know Cristiano Ronaldo, the world's most followed athlete, the icon of perfection, the man who lives in mansions, drives supercars, and lifts trophies like they were made for him. You've seen the celebrations, the records, the glory, but that's only half the story, the polished half. The real-life story of Cristiano Ronaldo is something far deeper, far darker, and far more human than the world ever realized. Before the fame, before the flashbulbs, before the Sioux echoed through stadiums, there was just a little boy on a small island called Madeira. His house wasn't luxurious, it was cramped, with the walls cracked and the roof leaking when it rained. His mother worked tirelessly as a cook and cleaner, while his father worked as a kit man at a local football club, often drinking to escape the struggles of life. Ronaldo didn't have toys, didn't have money, but he had a ball, and that ball became his whole world. As a child, he was mocked for his accent, his skinny frame, his ambition that seemed too big for a boy from nowhere. They called him Crybaby because every time he lost, he cried. But that wasn't weakness, that was passion, raw and pure. Those tears were the beginning of a fire that would never go out. He didn't dream of fame. He dreamed of escape from poverty, from pain, from the weight of being invisible. At 12, he left Madeira for Lisbon, leaving behind his family and everything he knew. Imagine that a child alone in a new city, sleeping in a shared room, eating cheap food, missing home, and wondering if the sacrifice would ever be worth it. He'd call his mother crying, saying he wanted to come home. But she told him, "No, Cristiano, you can't come back. You must fight." And he did. That was the first chapter of Ronaldo's real life, not glamour, not glory, but grit. He trained harder than anyone else. While others went out, he stayed back and practiced. He ran hills until his legs burned, trained headers until he could jump higher than anyone, and perfected his body not because of vanity, but because he had to. In the world of football, talent wasn't enough. He knew hard work was the only way out of the shadows. When he finally made it to Sporting Lisbon's first team, people began to notice the kid with the crazy dribbles and unmatched drive. But the world really met Cristiano Ronaldo in 2003, when Manchester United played Sporting in a friendly, and he tore them apart. The United players went back to their manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, and begged him to sign that boy. Days later, Ronaldo became a Red Devil. But fame didn't come easy. At United, he was talented but flashy, inconsistent, mocked for his tricks and hairstyles. The media ridiculed him. Opponents kicked him, fans booed him, and pundits called him overrated. Most would have broken. Ronaldo didn't. He turned every insult into fuel. He studied, learned, and evolved until he became unstoppable. The same boy who cried for losing was now the man who refused to lose ever again. But the real story of Cristiano Ronaldo isn't just about rising to the top. It's about what it cost him to stay there. In 2005, tragedy struck. His father, Dinis Aveiro, passed away due to liver failure caused by alcoholism. Ronaldo was only 20. He had barely begun his journey. He never got to show his father the success that was coming. Every goal since that day carries a shadow, the shadow of the man who wasn't there to see it. The cameras caught his smiles, but they never captured that emptiness behind them. After his father's death, Ronaldo changed. The boy became a machine. Discipline replaced distraction. Emotion turned into focus. He trained harder, ate cleaner, and obsessed over perfection. Football wasn't just his job, it became his language, his therapy, his way of coping with pain. Then came Real Madrid, the dream move, the record-breaking transfer. But with it came new challenges. He wasn't just joining a team, he was entering the most demanding spotlight in football. Every touch was analyzed, every miss criticized. When he didn't score, he was finished. When he scored, it was expected. Fame became a prison built from applause. The world saw Ronaldo's arrogance, the chest out, the celebrations, the confidence. But behind it was insecurity. Not weakness, but a relentless need to prove himself again and again. Because deep down, he still carried that boy from Madeira, the one who was told he'd never make it. Every goal was a message to those voices. You were wrong. What most people don't know is how much Ronaldo gave up for the life he has. He sacrificed normal friendships, simple joys, even sleep. His obsession with being the best consumed him. He missed birthdays, family moments, quiet dinners because perfection demands payment. Behind every success photo is a man who spent countless lonely nights stretching, training, and visualizing his next goal. The media will never tell you how disciplined he really is, how he still trains first, even after decades at the top, how he watches his diet like a soldier on duty, how he studies his own matches for hours, replaying his mistakes in silence. For Ronaldo, greatness isn't a gift. It's a burden he carries with purpose. They call him robotic sometimes, too cold, too calculated. But those who know him personally say the opposite. Off the field, he's gentle, emotional, deeply loyal. He cries for people he loves. He still visits Madeira quietly. He donates millions without seeking attention. The cameras catch the footballer, but they miss the human being. He's faced betrayal too from those who used his name for money, from tabloids hungry for scandal, from fans who turned on him when age began to show. But even through that, he never quit, because Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't fear failure, he fears regret. That's why, even in his late 30s, he still wakes up hungry, still chases perfection, still runs like he's 12 again, trying to prove himself. And here's the part no one talks about: the fear. The fear of the day the roar will stop, when the cameras will fade and the boots will hang forever. That fear drives him harder than fame ever could, because Ronaldo isn't just playing football, he's fighting time, fighting mortality, fighting the idea that one day the world will move on. The real-life story of Cristiano Ronaldo isn't the story of a superstar. It's the story of survival, of a boy who lost his father too soon, of a teenager who left home too early, of a man who turned pain into purpose. He isn't just a legend of football, he's a symbol of transformation. Proof that no matter where you come from, no matter what life throws at you, if you have discipline, heart, and an unbreakable spirit, you can change your destiny. So when you see him celebrate, when you see him smile under the bright lights, remember it's not arrogance, it's gratitude. Gratitude for the journey, for the struggle, for the pain that built him. Because Cristiano Ronaldo's real-life story is not what you think. It's not about goals, money, or fame. It's about a boy who refused to let the world define him and became a man who defined what greatness truly means.